Hi class, in this video we're going to be talking about how to find the radius and or diameter when we're given the area. So for question A, I'm asked to find the radius and I'm given an area of 50.24 centimeters squared. Well, first let's write out our formula. The formula to find the area of a circle is going to be defined as pi times radius squared. And since radius squared just means radius times radius, I'm just going to simplify this down and write it as pi times radius times radius. I can also simplify pi and let it be equal to 3.14 for simplicity. So I'm just going to let pi equal to 3.14. And now instead of pi times radius is 3.14 times radius times the radius. Now I'm looking for the radius and I'm given the area. So I'm just going to replace A, which stands for area, with 50.24 because that's the area that I'm given. And now that's going to equal to 3.14 times r times r. Now this looks like a equation, a one-step equation in theory. Now 3.14, since it's multiplying by r, I want to do the opposite of the multiplication and divide it by 3.14. But what I do to the right side of the equal sign, I have to do to the left side. So I'm going to also divide 50.24 by 3.14. Okay. And upon doing so, 50.24 divided by 3.14 is going to be equal to 16. And now all I have on this side here, on the right side left, is r times r, because 3.14 divided by 3.14 is just 1. So now 16 equals to r times r. Now you have to do some logical thinking here. A number times a number can get me 16. So what would that number have to be? If you're thinking right, it would be 4, right? Because 4 times 4 is going to be 16. So radius would have to be equal to 4. And I want to remember my units since my area is in centimeters squared. My units for radius would be 4 centimeters. Now, if this was more, if you guys knew how to do square roots, this could have been computed. So I'm going to write this as an aside. If you know how to do square roots, you could have left r times r as r squared, and you could have went r squared equals to 16, and then you could have taken the square root of both sides. And if you do that, you would get r equals to 4 because the square root of 16 is 4. But that's for an aside. Right now, in the context of what we're learning, if you haven't learned square roots yet, we're just going to think of a number that can multiply by itself to get 16 and just work backwards that way with logical thinking. But regardless, you get a radius of 4. Now let's try a different example. So for example B here, I'm asked to find the diameter, and I'm given an area of 254.34. So my formula for area, we already talked about this, was pi times radius squared. Now that can be simplified to pi times radius times radius. In this case, I'm going to let pi be equal to 3.14. So it's going to be 3.14 times radius times radius. Now, I can let my area be 254.34. And now that's going to equal to 3.14 times the radius times the radius. In this case here, I want to find diameter, but I have to find radius first, it looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve this equation here by dividing both sides by 3.14, like how we did previously. Upon dividing by 3.14, 254.34 divided by 3.14 is going to be 81. And 81 will equal to r times r. Now we have to do some logical thinking. What number multiplied by itself can get me 81? In this case, if you're thinking correctly, it would be 9, because 9 times 9 is 81. So my r, my radius, must equal to 9 centimeters, because my area is centimeters squared. Now to find diameter, we know that diameter is radius times 2. So my diameter is going to be equal to 2 times 9. And upon doing so, 2 times 9 is going to be 18. So my diameter is going to be 18 centimeters.